Welcome to this Coal and Energy Transition Day. I've stopped counting, but we've had a few of these. This is the first one where I feel I'm back in London. My standard joke at our London Indaba is it's only in London where we have Africa time. You start in London and about 60% of the people are there and they sort of drift in during the morning, and at some stage they're standing room only. Now, I don't know what happened to Buffalo time in South Africa, but you coal miners, or it must be the renewable energy people from Stellenbosch, but somebody is not here. So booked out, fully sold out conference with open seats is a London experience. I feel like we're in the wrong place. But welcome anyway, the few who are here. I'm now going to be like the pastor on Sunday who shout at the people who are in the church. Nah, I'm going to preach to you, brothers and sisters. We are going to have some good fun. The program is truly exceptional. It was a day that I originally didn't like, and I think I even said so. It started off as a cold day. It felt like we came together and we talked total bullshit in isolation away from reality. Not all coal miners agreed with me, but that's how I felt at the coal days. Then, when we went into the renewable energy space, let's face it, it's much nicer talking renewable energy, sitting there amongst yourself in Stellenbosch, and you whisk coal away. And what we are beginning to do in the last 2 or 3 years is we're having the real conversations. Conversations that can't whisk away coal and its significant contribution, and yet at the same time it acknowledges that as a country we need to progress and make significant progress. So the full benefit of the day, of course, is over the almost 8 hours of content. So those of you who come in to drop your pearls of wisdom and leave, you're going to lose out a bit. Those who come to listen to your boss and then leave, you're going to miss a bit. The few of us who are going to be here the whole day is going to get the benefit of exploring a topic which I think is at the core of our country, its future, and the economy of not only South Africa, but the region. So please stick around. Please contribute. I need to thank lots of people, sponsors. The reason this is, you're not being charged in dollars, and you don't have to fly to Cape Town, is because our business model is a fantastic model where the industry makes it possible for us to have these conversations. So this is a by the industry for the industry. And the tickets are in rand, so it's a fantastic alternative. So thank you to all of our sponsors. We really appreciate it. I think by now you all know, even if your logo is up there, I don't spare you from my questions or my sarcasm or my equal opportunity abuse that I share widely with everybody. Just hoping to set a tone. We start off with a special advisor to the minister, and so you guys know Silas is going to be on the receiving end of my sarcasm first so that I set the tone for the day. But he looks robust. I'm sure if he works with engineers, he knows how to take the stuff that's coming his way. I need to introduce you again to the platform. This is where you put your phone on silent, but you don't have to switch it off. You don't have to go into airplane mode. We will land safely even if your phone is on. If you point your camera at the QR code, you'll see a Slido, whatever. You click on that link. Are you guys going with me? Online people, it should be easier. At least you can call your kids to come and help you. Some of the old people in the room is very embarrassed. Come help that man. Jeez, man. I mean, come on. Just point it and then click on the link. And then we are going to introduce you to one of the two functions on Slido. The one is we do polls. Sometimes we check in to see if you agree with what the speaker is putting forward. sometimes we just test the audience to see what the audience is thinking. So this first one is tongue-in-cheek. For those of you who do not have a sense of humor, let me call it a funny poll. Okay, so if we had R1 every time transition was mentioned today, we could fix all the potholes between eMahleni and Richards Bay. We could fund a solar plant big enough to power Eskom's excuses. We can buy enough diesel to keep the lights on this week. Or we could launch a junior miner-owned space program. You get, it's just a tongue-in-cheek now, so don't kill yourself thinking too deep. This is to test that you can exercise your democratic right. You press send, and we've got 60 people awake. That's slightly less than what we have got in the venue. I think the venue is probably at least looking like 120 by now. And we've got another 100 online. So come on, people, wake up, participate. I could do one of those other exercises where I make you stand up and you swing your arms above your head and you say something inspirational. But this is the alternative to that. So don't make me do that to you now. Okay, so you get the hang of it. No, it's not difficult. I want to do one or two more serious ones, which are to the topic. So if we can move on to the next poll. Are you all sorted, or do you look around for help? You know how this thing works now, no? So it's really simple. So my question is, what is the most realistic role for coal in South Africa's energy future over the next 15 years? Not the next 3 years, but sort of long to medium term. It's going to be a central baseload provider for cleaner technologies. It's a transitional fuel while renewables scale up. It should have a minimal role as we pivot to renewables. It should have no role. Those are your choices. You don't have to agree. You have to pick the one that is most likely aligned with your own thinking. I felt like that many years. I felt like I'm in the wrong place with these coal miners, but they've grown on me, eh? They've grown on me. Mr. Special Advisor, this is the audience's thinking. I'm not asking who are coal miners and who are renewables people, because then we can see where the voting comes from. Huh? Okay, so there's, at this point of the conversation, a broad view that coal will continue to play some role over the next 15 years in the country. Can we move on to the next question, please? So what is the biggest risk of understanding future energy demand from technologies like AI and data centers? And Wislat, I know this is before your input, so this is before we've heard your wisdom. Is AI going to worsen the load shedding? It's going to result in us over-reliance on diesel or gas. In the end, it's just going to delay the digital transformation, or we're just going to miss out on opportunities. This is an intellectual question. You have to pay attention. Eh? I mean, and you know, with this Afrikaans English, nothing is quite the way you would have put it. So it's, I can see my wife shakes her head in affirmation. It's the way I make sure you guys don't think I've generated these questions through AI. I dump them down to Afrikaans English, and then it's come on, people. Read again, and please exercise your option. There are 20 people less than in the previous one. Can I move on to my final question for the starting session? So which intervention is most likely to reverse the coal sector's declining productivity? Now later we get to renewable energy and questions to that. This is now building up to the start portion of the conference. Which intervention is most likely to reverse the declining productivity? If I could be young again, I would join the coal mining industry. All of your problems is in the hands of either Eskom or Transnet. How lekker, né? It is so lekker. It is a fantastic external locus of control. No wonder we're in the shit. I should have had something about management and quality of management on that list. Okay, that's what you think as an audience. I really think, for me, every year it feels like it's such a crucial time to have the people participating in a conversation. Without energy, we can talk about alternatives and we can talk about transition, but we have to do that in an environment of secure and available energy. We cannot be having this conversation in a country which is energy poor and pretend that there's a nirvana silver bullet. So let's open our minds. I think differently about coal after 5 years of these conversations. I am less cynical about the self-interest of renewable players. That sort of early window one, making billionaires and we will never make our money back, that's behind us. We are now in a different world, and we all need to almost step into this world, today's South Africa, this economy, and ask ourselves, what is the contribution we can make? Looking forward to it, as always, looking forward to really blunt, honest conversations. The way your question will get to the speaker and or the panel is you will go onto Slido. There is a Q&A platform, and you will type your question. That's a fantastic leveler. The questions are much shorter if you have to type it yourself. You cannot make a statement of how smart you are. You cannot promote your company. You cannot tell us about the MBA you did last year at Gibbs. You have to actually put a question. And I will filter the questions for purposes of keeping the conversation going. So it's a very useful platform. It's also the platform through which we bring the online participants into the conversation. So please use it. I say it at least 3 times at every conference. The question is only useful if it reaches me before the end of the speaker session. Okay, so do not wake up with 3 minutes to go and start typing your question. The question has to be with me in order to be able to put it to the speaker. So please help me with that. Let's make this interactive. Let's talk about one of the key topics of our country, and that is, how does coal fit into an energy transition, and how do we get the right balance between energy security and greener electrons? Thank you very much.